Fingers crossed. Give me some red and green beatdowns, huh? That's where I'm at. I want to see some red and green beatdowns. All right, here we go. We're coming from Kevin Perez's side, Sultai Control. Camilo on top.
And look at that top hand, smoothed out so elegantly by those double-sided lands.
Yeah, I'm kind of digging it. We can play a Rimrock Knight on turn 2, the Mammoth on 3, and kind of go from there, see how the hand does shape up. So you're not wrong. We got options. Smooth, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
There's Shatter Skull. There's Rimrock Knight. Let's get the beatdown started. Zaggoth Try on the draw. A lot of lands that are going to enter the battlefield tapped here for Perez. You see the pathway. Could play that right now to turn on Heartless Act, but the rest of your lands are in the battlefield tapped, and so ideally you'd like to just take this turn off, maybe do some scrying, who knows, so that you can play Uro next turn. But it looks like we're thinking about going towards Clearwater Pathway. Okay. This again leaves up Heartless Act.
Yeah, it's interesting to want a Heartless Act here when you could potentially line up the Shark Typhoon against the Rimrock Knight in a turn or two. But the hand's just kind of, it is unwieldy no matter what.
I agree. Oh, there's your land. And here's your Lovestruck Beast Hardcast. Excuse me, it's actually going to not be Lovestruck Beast Hardcast. So I take that back. Going to get the 1/1 on the battlefield alongside the Edgewell Innkeeper, and then play Lovestruck Beast or a Questing Beast or the Mammoth. So a lot of options here. Primal Might to draw. Lovestruck Beast to play. Draw a card with the Innkeeper. Shatterskull smashing the draw there, so that's a land. Yeah, these multiple double face cards doing a lot for this particular deck in Gruul Adventures. You can see it firsthand right now.
And they are not bad as spells. It's not just, mostly a land and then sometimes just like the cards are just fine to be playing too.
Yep, totally agree with you on that one. Robber of the Rich, the draw here for Camilo Mora. The beatdowns are looking pretty healthy right now. Now, of course, there are a lot of cards to play around in this situation. When you're playing against Sultai Control, they have a lot of spot removal. They do have a card like Extinction Event, which is not an instant, of course. That is a sorcery. You saw Heartless Act earlier in the game, and we see a Shark Typhoon in hand as well right now, too. So you're facing 4 untapped mana, and you want to make sure, if you are the Gruul Adventures player, that you do get this decision right.
Yeah, I mean, you can just move into combat if you're playing around Shark Typhoon or removal spell inside of combat and then Embercleave. If you're playing around just one removal spell, it is better to cast the Questing Beast before combat. So, tricky spot here.
Well, there are your beatdowns. Mystical Dispute, kind of like that Questing Beast, so 7 damage able to get through. Now it looks like we're going to sacrifice the Fabled Passage right away here. Basic Swamp, the weapon of choice. Uro, the draw for the turn here for Kevin Perez. So it looks like we're going to play Uro. Trigger, y'all know the drill by now. Draw a card, put a land on the battlefield. Gain a little bit of life.
This is amounts to the whole turn. I mean, there's not really a follow-up to make here with the 2 mana that's left over. And that's just going to be game here. Embercleave's going to finish this one off.
Yeah, I think that should finish it off pretty cleanly here. So there's a land. Embercleave's pretty easy to cast. You can even play Robber of the Rich ahead of schedule here and ahead of the Embercleave. So that's going to be 4 attackers. Cleave will cost 2. And Lovestruck Beast looks like a pretty nice target for that Embercleave. So game number 1 going to go to Camilo Mora, Gruul Adventures. Very quickly up a game here over Kevin Perez and his Sultai Control deck. And my friend, I'm going to let you speak on your column with StarCityGames.com.
Listen up. I got a column. Gets published every Wednesday. Sullivan Satchel. You might have heard of it. It's changed a little bit in recent months. You send in your questions, they get answered. If you send in the best question, as determined by me, you will receive $25 in SCG credit. Send your questions to mailbag@starcgames.com. My DMs on Twitter @BasicMountain also open. So if you have some inquiry, might have a chance of getting answered. And if you send a particularly thoughtful or funny question in, let's stick to thoughtful because you're a bad judge of funny, most of you. A thoughtful question in, you might be picked for $25 in SCG credit.
There
StarCgames.com.
.com. Sideboarding beginning here. Taking a look at the most recent SCG Tour tweet. Top 6 players are 4-color. Ramp. 7th place, Kevin Perez. All-time mid-range. 8th place, Camilo Mora. Gruel Adventures. Places after that, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 4-color ramp. 9 through 13, 4-color ramp. 14th place, Gabriel Nicholas with Sultai Control, and so on and so forth. So, those of you wondering just how good is this 4-color ramp deck, that question has been answered. But it looks like we will have at least one non-4-color ramp deck into the top 8 of our seasonal championship here. Whoever wins this one should be through. So it looks like it is so strange looking at these hands still with these modal double face cards because I'm like, do they just keep a 1-lander? It's like, no, there's 2 lands. One of them's Kazandu Mammoth. And then the Pathways, which are red and green mana, so not even really color screwed either. Just look strange. That's all.
No, it's smooth. It's just, takes a minute to process.
Kazandu Mammoth is a land now.
Not trying to cast judgment, but the Sultai Control hand is somehow both perfect and awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seamlessly straddles both. It's like this is the best hand you can get, and also the hand is extremely bad.
It does everything and nothing at all.
Right.
Heart's Desire is where we're going to start this game. Continue, please.
Like look at that hand. How are you beating a Heart's Desire?
It's a lot. Yeah, that one's going to get some work done. All right, there's Edgewell Innkeeper. Probably going to kill that one, so it looks like Eliminate might be headed that way. Yep. Adios.
Dang.
All right, neutralize the draw. Balagad Recovery is actually Balagad Sanctuary. Enters the battlefield tapped. Can't neutralize anything. Can, of course, Heartless act something, but no 3-mana counterspell this turn, so we head back over. Beatdowns for 1. Bang indeed. Follow up. Red Pathway. Garrick's Harbinger. That's going to be a problem.
Oh, no.
4-3 hexproof black and no 4th land. Oh, no.
I really like swiping the Gargaroth all the way to the left side of the hand. It's like, no.
Nope. Just put that over there.
Put that face down.
Yeah. That's a morph. Cycle Shark Typhoon right away. I like that idea. Let's try to find a 4th land. Well, we whiffed, but we tried. Blood Chief's Thirst to draw. Doesn't kill the Harbinger.
Nothing does.
Yeah, you get it. Wow, that's a brutal beating. Spikefield Hazard's going to kill the Shark token. Giddy up, let's go! Harbinger, there'll be a trigger. Take a look at the top 4 cards. Add 1 to the grip here, ideally. And Bone Crusher Giant is now in the hand. There's Red Pathway, and your follow-up is going to be a Scavenging Ooze with green mana at the ready. Force the draw here for Kevin Perez. Shark Typhoon is a plenty, 1 land away from the big Elder Gargaroth, and now here's a Blood Chief's Thirst.
It is possible that in spite of how badly this is going in some respects, that your Gruul opponent just can't beat a Gargaroth. So you can play to just sort of keep your head above water and cycle and hope that, your 6/6 is just good, because it is a good percentage of the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's a big boy.
Now, Kevin does not know this, but that became much harder now with Embercleave as part of the equation.
Yeah, that definitely changed this game in a meaningful way. Here's a Shark Typhoon cycle. 1/1. looking to get its chump block on.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind cleaving here. I don't mind it's just so much damage. I understand you'd really like to. You would like to just play another creature this turn, but this is so much damage.
And 2 triggers. BT dip.
And the Embercleave's not the easiest thing to deploy inside of combat anytime there's open mana up, so it's a really good spot to just stick it.
Bone Crusher Giant and Questing Beast have been added to the hand, and unfortunately here for Kevin Perez, I think he is way too far behind, even though he does have 5th land and Elder Gargaroth. Embercleave, a little bit too powerful for that beast, especially when you see all those copies of Stomp in hand.
Yeah, the 2 stomps are just lethal, without even talking about getting into combat, so...
Yep.
Just... Hand is too clunky. Died with a bunch of good cards in hand, but just comes into play, enters the battlefield, tap lands, along with the mana cost here. Just couldn't get everything out of the hand efficiently enough.
Couple of stomps, going to clean it up, and for Camilo Mora, taking care of Kevin Perez, 2-0 Gruul Adventures.